fantasy anime. When these two words are combined, you can see the average anime fan have a full-blown Winter Soldier episode where their eyes roll back to the skull as they are experiencing a full-on PTSD because they have experienced shit like this. I mean, it has gone to the point where they did not even leave a vending machine. But every now and then, there comes a fantasy show which blows everyone away. And one of those shows aired very recently called Mushoku Tensei. Shows like that do not come very often, especially when it comes to isekai. Did you notice the word I said was isekai, not fantasy? Because purely the fantasy genre is almost extinct. I mean, the last one which came out was Ancient Magus Bride, and even though it was talk of the town in 2017, no one was even aware that season 2 was airing last season. But even though there are few of them, these are the type of shows that draw us in by immersing you in this mystical world where every single detail sticks out to you, even though it is an insignificant thing in the grand scheme of things. But the reason it sticks with you is because you can see how much thought was put into it by the ones who created it. There are only a handful of these type of shows that transport me into a different world like that, and I thought in the climate of currently airing anime, the only show that is going to do that to me for a while is Mushoku Tensei. But to my surprise, there was another one lurking in the shadows, waiting for Mushoku Tensei to finish its seasonal run just so it can make its grand entrance, and that anime is Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Our story starts like any fantasy anime. There is a hero who is goofy, lovable, and a complete idiot. A priest who is a sarcastic, snarky alcoholic bum. A warrior who looks like a guy who would easily get rolled, but in reality, he's the guy who rolls and smokes on that demon lord back. And last but not the least, an elven mage known as Frieren. But we quickly notice something being off when we start the show, because every single one of these characters are acting as if their journey is about to end, and that is exactly what is happening. These guys are not traveling to somewhere in the skirt, but they are traveling back from their adventures, where after 10 long years of adventuring, this party has finally slayed the demon lord, and the town of beginnings is awaiting their return for celebrations. The squad gets rewarded by the king, the citizens decide to honor them by making statues of them, and the entire town throws a huge party as a form of gratitude. But the squad is reminiscing on their journey, their highs, their lows, their goofy moments, and their serious moments, while gazing at a meteor shower which happens every 50 years. And even though they're sharing an intimate moment, the view of the meteor shower is not that encapsulating because of the location they are in. So all of them make a promise to see the next meteor shower in 50 years at a better place, the place which will give the best view of the meteor shower. The sun rises on the next day and the party splits up. Each and every member leaves to do something else. Some of the members wonder if they're even going to be alive for the next meteor shower, but still they keep hope and live on the rest of their life. But the only one who decides to move on is Frieren, even though for rest of the party members this 10-year journey was a huge part of their life. Hell, it kind of defined their life, but that is very different for Frieren. Unlike most of the party members, Frieren is an elf. She lives for thousands of years. These 10 years for her felt like a month, just a checkpoint in her life. So after the party splits up, we follow Frieren and Frieren alone from a windy snowy mountain to a dry deserted barren land. She spends nights alone in a forest with a campfire reading that same old book, to waking up on a tiny little fishing boat sailing in the search of new magical spells. We see her treasure hunting, helping the common folks, or just cooking food. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, half a century passes, where it's time to reunite with the former party to watch that meteor shower. And when she returns back to see that goofy, cocky, idiotic, full of life hero who saved millions by slaying the demon lord, but to Frieren's surprise, instead of all of that, she finds an old man who is content with his life. The old party reunites and all of them go on a one last adventure just like the old days to see the meteor shower. And when they finally reach their destination and see that view with their own eyes, you cannot help but say, soon after that, Himmel, the hero, passes away. While attending his funeral, Frieren at first was a usual stoic self, but out of nowhere, she starts crying. Well, you see, for Himmel and other party members, the time they spent together, those 10 years, as I said, were defining years of their life. But from Frieren's perspective, they were supposed to be some passing acquaintance. Frieren, the elven mage who lives for thousands and thousands of years. For her, those 10 years were like a drop in the bucket. To her, it was that one good good month that you thought it would never end. In her mind, she had several years to get to really know Himmel and many more to get closer with him. But before she knew it, he had passed on, and that's the reason she broke down crying. And this is where Frieren kind of starts her own journey to find out more about humans, where she goes from one place to another, helping people who are in need, and in return learning some sort of skill from them. It can either be spell which cures poison or just a spell which can bloom flowers. We follow her from one town to another as she retraces her journey which she had with the hero party. What I really love about this is that we are kind of seeing the epilogue of the story through Frieren's eyes, and at the same time reminiscing what they did there, because 1000 years is such a long time. Even though slaying the demon lord is such a legendary event, life kind of goes on after that. The events will become myths, heroes become forgotten legends, and the statues which were the symbol of victory will be known as a memory of that one dude who existed. And that is not only what Frieren goes through, but also the demons who get resurrected after thousands of years. Okay, there is one thing I've always wondered when it is about a demon who was resurrected after being sealed for thousands of years in anime or manga. Why is that dude so strong? I mean, just because he's old has no correlation to him being that strong. Let's take real life for example. If a dude gets resurrected after 1000 years, he will be at a severe disadvantage. I mean, the dude is going to be fighting with sticks and stones, where we now have equipment which they wouldn't have even imagined. And that is exactly how the fights in Frieren are. Frieren has been alive for thousands of years. She has saw a small little village grow into a big city. She knows the entire family tree of this guy from the very beginning. But the reason she's so strong is not just because she's thousands of years old, but rather she has evolved in those thousands of years. The fights in Frieren are incredible. I mean, I don't have to say it, but there is one thing that stuck with me while watching the anime. Once upon a time, long ago, there was this demon known to be the most powerful spellcaster of his day. When the hero party faced him, none of them stood a chance. Almost everyone got annihilated. He was so strong that killing him was out of the picture. So they somehow barely managed to seal him for only 50 years. But once 50 years are up, he will get unsealed and wreak havoc everywhere. And when the day arrived where he was unsealed and resurrected in the modern times, his most powerful spell, the spell that destroyed the entire hero party, that very spell is now just an ordinary attack spell. I mean, yes, he was a powerful demon 50 years ago, but from then the magical study has moved on. Take real life for example. No one would have thought that internet would come this far 20 years ago. But enough with the story itself. Now let me talk about why you should watch this in anime form only. As you might have noticed, I am a manga reader, but now that I have watched the anime, I wish I hadn't read the manga and experienced it in anime form only, because the anime is simply breathtaking. The way anime has brought this wonderful world to life is fucking unreal. The places are visually stunning, where just one look will drag you in and immerse you in this world which is filled with colorful things. And all these minute moments from not only the characters but also to the nature is the very reason why this world feels like an actual living breathing world. For example, they could have made this celebration shot into a panned out sliding shot just like almost any other anime, but Keiichiro Sato didn't do the same old regular ass shit. Instead, the man animated every single detail here, from the fireworks going off to the civilians dancing to this guy being drunk as fuck and nodding his head to the music. And that is exactly the reason why this feels like a huge festival. Look at the way kids are running without a care in the world, and the adults like Frieren have to take care of their surroundings. Even the mundane shots of people having dinner or just walking with a hangover are animated so fucking well. So imagine the production when it comes to the big moments. And when you combine this with the music done by Evan Cole, the same dude who did the music for Violet Evergarden, you are bound to get rollercoaster of feels. I mean, it is not just the music and the animation, it is every single little thing. From the sound design when Frieren does magic, or even when the rain is pouring, the way voice actors project their voice which matches with the animated movements of the characters, or vice versa. The color palettes of this world, the demons feel like actual genuine demons sent from hell. They are scary and frightening, or they do a complete 180 and we see this beautiful heartwarming flower field. I mean, you know, these guys are really fucking passionate about their work when you can clearly tell the difference between these two types of flowers which have the same characteristics characteristics. One of them is on the darker, richer blue, and other one is more on the sky blue spectrum. I mean, Madhouse is completely back with Keiichiro Sato as the director, who has proven himself with Bocce the Rock. But this time, he's finally going to stamp his name as one of the GOATs who is here to stay for a long ass time. Frieren Beyond the Journey's End is fucking amazing. So please go give it a chance. Do not miss out on it.